Hey guys, welcome back to Coding Flamingo. In the last video we looked at connecting our web application to our SQL database using MSIs and the Visual Studio identity. In this video we're going to look at adding some data. So this is just a regular Razor page application that they give you in the sample. So we have the hello world page, we have the counter and the fetch data. So in this one, we're just going to modify the counter. It already has a click button, so we're just going to modify that one, and we're going to make it our data input. We're going to add two functions. The first one is just going to add some sample data just for testing, and then the other one we're going to add for users to be able to input their data. So let's go ahead and add that data. So let's close this and stop this. So we're going to go to the counter. Actually, let's go first to the nav menu. We're going to change it. Instead of counter, this is going to be user. So we're going to go back to counter. And technically you should do your own page and change the page thing. This is just a quick demo, so we're just going to skip this. And we're going to just copy the page because it's a lot of typing. I'll just copy it all and paste it. There's some imprints we're going to have to do. So this is called differently here. Using SQL and email.data. Same with this one. Then we have to add MinSoft to our NuGet packages, so we're going to go here. It's the first one. And then also we're going to have to add, so we're going to use controllers, so we're going to have to add another package. Let me just copy it because once again it's a lot of typing. So we're going to add this one because if we go, so it's the Blazor HTTP client. Because if we go back here, we're going to see that there's, oh no, it's not in this one, it's in the next one, but there is basically an error when you try to do HTTP gets. So we're just going to install this. So basically this would be, if you have an MVC app, you can use this to change it from and start using Blazor. So yeah, it's a great way of doing it. So now we have to add our controllers. So first we're going to go to our startup app and we're going to add this line in the endpoints to be able to map controllers. So right now we do map Blazor, but we're not mapping controllers. So we're going to also add a folder to add our controller. And we're going to call our controller people controller. So then we're going to make it extend base. We're going to say that this is an API controller. Then we're going to create, we're going to need also manager. So let's go create it. So we're going to need a managers folder. And we're going to create a new class called people manager. So this people manager is basically what's going to do our work. So we're going to have a populate database class. This is just when we're being lazy and we just want to populate quickly our database. We do this, we're going to need a database that it's going to be passed. Sorry, a database context that is going to be passed in the constructor. So as you can see, I'm just creating 3 fake users. One is me, one is SpongeBob, the other one is Patrick, and I'm just adding them to the database. In the second one, it's going to be if they're actually passing us a user. So like if someone actually created a user, we're going to pass it and we're just going to add it. So those are the 2 methods we're going to need right now for this class. Now let's add the controller. So back in the controller, we're going to need to add the managers. And then we're going to do the constructor. This is a cool thing about .NET. The constructor actually knows how to create the database since we initialized it in the startup. It knows how to pass it, so you don't have to initialize it. Then we're going to create a route for populating the database. So that one is just going to be an empty http.get, and it just populates the database. And then the other one is just going to be an add person. That one we're going to do a post. It's easier when you're passing. I'm just adding models. When you're passing information, I like doing posts. When you're passing objects, because you don't run out of space and it's just better practice. So then if we go back to our counter, now we can see what we added. So in here we just added this bunch of copy paste forms. So I'm just going to do the BR here. So there's more space. But basically first name, last name, email, hobbies, occupation, and age. And then in here I'm just getting our home page. So like our base URL, so we can use it. I'm initializing an HTTP client. I'm creating a new user that is empty, and I just initialize it on initialize, and I get the base URI, and make it the HTTP client base URI. So if you can see here in the get async, I don't have to pass the full URI. I just pass the second part of it. So then in here, we're gonna do the add user, and if you see with Blazor, this is really cool. It's all .NET C# code, so no more JavaScript, which is cool. So in here, I'm just checking that it's not empty. You can also do it up here if it's required. You can do data validation, but I still like doing it. And in here, I want to do an alert, but we'll take care of it later. And then in here, I can get rid of this. This is when I was debugging something. So we're going to create an HTTP content that is going to be the new user, which gets assigned here. So if you can see each one of the fields, it's binded to the new user and each of the fields of the new user. So first name, last name, email, hobbies, occupation. So then I check that they're not null, and then when I'm creating it, I JSON convert. So this is where we needed the Newtonsoft, and we pass the new user, and here we have the request message. Here I'm passing the base URI plus the add user, and then we're adding the content and sending it async. So here we create it, we add the content, we send it. And then if it's successful, we should do something, because right now it doesn't tell you whether or not, like, just you assume it's successful because there is no error, but we also don't learn any error. So those are 2 things that we should do for user experience. But in this one, the whole point of the tutorial is to just get it working. So now let's try it out. And while this loads, let's check that our database is not empty. Sorry, that it's empty. So here we're going to do select top 10 rows. We're going to do run. And we can see that the results are empty, no results. And now we're going to go back here. So we can do populate fake database. Actually, I'm going to add some breakpoints since we don't have any information. So if we get called the controller, it's going to send a breakpoint. So as you can see, we go here, we jump in here, and it's just going to do all this. So we're just going to continue. And then if we go back to our database, and we select, you can see that it created this users and the occupation and stuff. So now let's go back here. So let's create a new user. We can do add user. Then if we go back here, we should add. So as you can see, it added the user. So thanks for watching, and in the next video we're going to look at how to display this data on the website so we don't have to go to the actual database to do this. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.